I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
How did I not know about these cult classics? As the wise Sal Vulcano once said,
prepare for something amazing.
Hey friends, I'm Jimmy Gaddis. Welcome to NostalgAK. In this video, I'm going to show you my top 5 finds at Retrosource in Farmingville, Long Island, New York. While the shop is a well-rounded blast from the past, their specialty is retro video games and consoles. And they have some doozies that are in some cases so bad, they're good and highly coveted by collectors. Before we get to the list, we absolutely need to show you around, as this shop has a distinct 80s and 90s feel I guarantee you won't get anywhere else. That said, Time Warp, I need you to officially take us to Retrosource.
You sure about this one? This is a good one.
This is Will, the store manager. He's gonna be our guide. If you follow them on Instagram, you know his alter ego, Retro Billy.
No, don't show the transformation. Business in the front, party in the back, remember? Come on down to the source. Retrosource.
He was discovered at a Waffle House, wearing a Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses. Right then and there, the owner knew he had his man. True story.
He brought me here. He had like newspapers all over it. I just thought, originally I was like, oh God, am I gonna get killed? I didn't know what was in here. And then whenever it opened up, it was just this huge mural and that door over there. It was amazing.
Yeah, that door, the one at the Max. There's an entire section dedicated to Saved by the Bell here. You'll find Screech in one of the lockers, right next to the payphone.
Teared up a little bit because I was like, wow, I'm back. That sweet spot in between 1984 to 1997.
Retrosource brings that sweet spot, plus or minus a few years, to life with displays of vintage and new toys and collectibles, and some of the cleanest original arcade cabinets I've ever seen. Eye-popping nostalgia is around every corner.
Their eyes get huge, like dinner plate huge. It's like they're dragging their kids around. They're like, come on, I gotta show you this. Oh, look at that. You don't know what that is, but I do.
Look. Thundercats.
Don't worry kids, there's plenty I don't know either. My video game knowledge mainly revolves around the Atari, TI-99 4A, NES, Sega, and PlayStations, leaving many games and consoles off my radar. This visit would expand my knowledge in ways I never thought possible. That said, let's get to our list. Our first find resides on the Nintendo GameCube shelf, which is getting more valuable by the day.
Every single one is going up in price. It's out of nostalgia. Everybody remembers it back in the day. They want it again. I had this game. I gave it to GameStop maybe for like, what, 30 bucks? Now it's almost $200. It's insane. I love it.
Having to compete with Sony and Microsoft to win back older gamers, more mature titles began popping up on the console in the early 2000s.
Nintendo GameCube.
Good old Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. You have Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. That's like the main go-to scary game.
This psychological horror game is the first M-rated game to be published by Nintendo. On the more charming end of the spectrum, though, is our first game on the list.
Number 5.
Chibi-robo, Plug into Adventure, a quirky cult hit that's become highly coveted by collectors.
This right here is factory sealed. It goes for about $700 online. We got it for about $600.
Developed by Skip Ltd, this GameCube exclusive came out in June of 2005, toward the tail end of the console's lifespan. By then, many of us had moved on to the Xbox or PlayStation. Still, this adventure platformer was praised for its charming yet serious storyline, which touches on topics like divorce and depression. The game takes place at the Sanderson home, a financially strapped family on the verge of being broken apart. Dad is out of work, Mom is considering leaving him, frustrated with the money he spends on toys, including the chibi-robo. While 8-year-old Jenny thinks she's a frog. Adorable. Now Jenny gets a chibi-robo for her birthday. It's a 4-inch tall robot that does chores like cooking, cleaning the dog's muddy footprints with a toothbrush, picking up trash. Every now and then you've got to plug in and recharge. Your goal is to earn happy points by making them happy, whether it's taking care of those chores or doing specific favors for them. Once the Sandersons go to sleep though, Jenny's toys come to life. And they've all got their own set of hang-ups that they want you to help them with. Along the way, you can find or buy tools to help you get things done and level up your battery, allowing you to venture farther out before needing a charge. The ultimate goal of the game is to build up enough points to earn Super Chibi-robo status. That is, should you decide to take this disc out of the factory sealed box and play it. Decisions. Speaking of Nintendo, did you know some of its most beloved characters made their way onto the CDI in the early to mid 90s?
This may look like an ordinary compact disc, but actually, it's an interactive encyclopedia. A stimulating match with a tennis pro. An interactive adventure through fantastic worlds. Yeah, the CDI, the console you likely never owned, played, or saw in real life. But there's a good chance you remember the commercials with Phil Hartman.
You're going to buy a CD player and you're thinking. But then you hear about the next generation CD player.
It's called CDI and it works with your TV to bring you the ultimate in movies, games, and family entertainment.
Awesome! Awesome is right. Awesome sound, awesome pictures, awesome choices.
CDI, tell a friend.
CDI, kid, huh?
Launching in late 1991, the Philips CDI, or Compact Disc Interactive, was to be the next big step in the CD-ROM revolution.
What's that supposed to be?
This. It's a CDI. It does the work of a VCR, a CD player, a game machine, and a CD-ROM all in one.
Educational and fun, with a price tag of $700. Cheaper than a computer, they pointed out, but still $700. As sales eventually slumped, Philips began to push its gaming capabilities over everything else. It leaned in part on a contract with Nintendo, which gave Philips the right to create games with Nintendo's iconic characters. 4 such games were made. You can find 2 of them at Retrosource.
Like, oh my God, you have that? Zelda, Wand of Gamelon, and then we have Hotel Mario. It's like one of the sillier ones.
It's from Bowser. Dear pesky plumbers, the Koopalings and I have taken over the Mushroom Kingdom. The princess is now a permanent guest at one of my 7 Koopa hotels. I dare you to find her if you can.
Hotel Mario was created in-house by Philips. They took advantage of this golden opportunity by thrusting Mario and Luigi into a most epic adventure, where their sole job is to close all the doors at the hotel on each level. That's it. Close all the doors, do it without dying, and you'll win. Rated a 6.6 out of 10 by Electronic Gaming Monthly back in the day, it's quite fun to play by most accounts. But what most fans really get nostalgic over nearly 30 years later are those cutscenes.
It's like, nice of the princess to join us for dinner, eh, Luigi?
I hope she made lots of spaghetti.
Nice of the princess to invite us over for a picnic, eh, Luigi? I hope she made lots of spaghetti.
This'll make a great omelet. Here! Thanks.
Cutscenes also reign supreme for all the wrong reasons in Zelda, the Wand of Gamelon.
Isn't it lovely? Bring some fairy dust and I'll make it a magic cloak.
In this side-scroller, you get to play as Zelda. It's one of 3 Zelda-inspired games made for the CDI.
Oh my! It looks like everyone's been taken to Taikogi Tower.
This is illegal, you know.
My cakes will burn!
Now, in an effort to compete with Super Nintendo and Sega, Philips also banked on its ability to utilize full motion video.
Run! Come on faster!
Which leads us to the next item on our list.
Number 4.
And we got some other quality obscure stuff over here. Primarily Drug Wars, CDI.
Hey, tough guy! Are you looking for me? Vamos, come a little closer. I am Lopez. Lopez, the narcotics king.
Crime Patrol 2 Drug Wars is a live-action first-person shooter.
I have the mansion, I have the money, I have the drugs, I have the power. So what makes you think a little cockroach like you can find me in my lab, huh?
Drug lords are a scourge on our country, and you're a DEA agent looking to take them down. From New Mexico to Chicago and eventually heading to South America to finish the job.
I hope we're dressed for this party.
It's the 7th live-action shooting game made by American Laser Games.
Oh, thanks. Guilty.
The same folks that gave us Mad Dog McCree in the arcade, and eventually on the CDI. Hopefully you had the light gun for this one, otherwise you were stuck with the controller or mouse. Just like in the arcade, you point and shoot to handle just about any action on the screen, from selecting levels to reloading to firing on those drug cartels. The gameplay can get laggy and controls have been criticized as being slow, but rest assured the cheesy acting and storyline offer all the entertainment you'll need.
Looks like a party. Smells like a drug deal.
They don't just smuggle dope, they lose your luggage. Let's ground them.
It says to kiss the lady goodbye. Oh, you kiss the lady goodbye. You're going south.
South America, that is.
It's so bad, it's good, just like the next game on our list.
Number 3.
And then another obscure one over here, plumbers don't wear ties.
This disc is playable on the Panasonic 3DO, another do-it-all system that failed to meet expectations. An epic fail at that. With dreams of becoming the next big thing in home entertainment, the 3DO promised to deliver 32-bit graphics that 16-bit Sega and Super Nintendo couldn't. And they were pretty spectacular for the time.
If you're not playing on a 3DO system, what are you playing with? Presenting 3DO, the most advanced home gaming system in the universe. It's time to put away your toys.
It was named Time Magazine's 1993 Product of the Year. Yeah, it's got high hopes, but for a number of reasons, including having just one game available at launch, it failed and was discontinued 3 years later. But not before releasing a game that is often considered the worst ever made. Yeah, you've got company, E.T. Just ask the guy who plays crappy games for a living.
This is one of the worst things I have ever seen in my life. On the box, it says plays like a game, but feels like a movie. Well, that's horse shit.
Link to his video in the description. Always, always, always worth a watch. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, which, disclaimer, is definitely for adults, is another FMV or full motion video masterpiece. Okay, that's a bit of a stretch on both accounts. The only video we actually get is in the introduction, as Jane, the busty blonde we'll be attempting to win over, explains the rules. She tells us we'll be playing the role of John, a plumber.
If you make the right moves, I end up with the schlep. That is, I end up with you. But if you get real lucky, you end up saving me from the bad guy. You become my hero. And as a hero's reward, guess what? You can take me home and have your own degenerate little way with me.
The game then transitions to a loud, long opening credits slideshow of images from a racetrack that have been given a heavy dose of the negative filter. I can't make any sense of it. After another state-of-the-art transition, we get to meet John. Short and sweet, his mom calls. She wants him to find a woman and settle down.
It's time you got married. You need children. I need grandchildren. I need my only child to bear fruit.
During this exchange is where we get the game's title.
What are you wearing today?
My birthday suit.
Very funny. I want you to wear that nice tie I bought for you.
Ma, I'm a plumber, remember?
Just do it for your mother.
Meanwhile, Jane is receiving a similar scolding from her dad.
Why the hell aren't you married yet, Jane? In that last scene, that bitch of a mother told her son to have kids. Now I'm telling you, I want some too. Your clock's a ticking. Now why the hell haven't you been productive?
I haven't had time, Daddy.
For Christ's sake, girl, how long does it take these days? You ain't that busy. Now damn it, Jane, you get on the stick and make some babies for your poor old father before he dies.
Later that morning, after this 90-second long shower scene, the two of you meet in a parking lot and the game is on.
Whoa! It's 8 o'clock and I'm seeing a 10. What I wouldn't give to do her plumbing.
You have to make decisions for both John and Jane that will eventually lead to a Hollywood ending.
So, who do you want to make the first move? If you want John to do it, hit A now.
Again, the story is completely driven by amateur still photos, voiceover, and sound effects. A few other interesting characters help guide you along the way.
This is Harry Armas. Welcome aboard. Please extinguish all smoking materials during this story, cause it's gonna get hot enough as it is.
Now each fork in your road typically has 3 paths to choose from. Make the wrong moves and Jane says see you later. Make the right moves and you progress. The real shock value sets in when we meet Jane's boss. You want to talk about getting canceled. It's Jane's first day on the job, but she finds out her position has been eliminated before she even starts.
Oh God, Mark, I'm desperate.
As the boss, you can choose to find her some work as his private secretary, or option 2, you can turn her away, or option 3, the hairball takes advantage of the situation.
Note, you must be 18 or over to take a look at this decision.
Sleazy, exceptionally sleazy. There is a scenario where Jane ends up turning the tables on the boss's advances, scaring him into submission.
You're gonna do every little thing Jane tells you to do?
Yes, oh yes, yes, but please be gentle.
Now, what was my salary?
Whatever you want, I don't care. Be gentle, please.
But this timeline doesn't land you the plumber in the end.
Now you've done it. You've really done it. How could you make Jane into such a perverted young thing? She was an innocent girl before you started screwing around with this story.
Jane says no to this disgusting proposal.
Instead, you've got to decline his attempts if you want the story to advance toward its happy ending. No pun intended. Now, if you, John, can eventually save her from the knife-wielding creep during a chase scene that is ungodly long,
call the police!
You can win the game and the girl, but you'll never win back the time it took you to do it.
Number 2.
Then we also do these things right here. This is my personal favorite, the Dixie Cup Game Boy. It's modded to the 9s to where it's like new speaker, new screen, new shell.
Our number 2 find wins all the style points. Custom-made Game Boys that'll bring you back to the 90s. 2 styles to choose from, Dixie Cup and my favorite, the Bayside.
Even the screen changes a different color. It doesn't have to just be green, it can be black and white, inverted black and white, red, and then of course the original green.
Modded on Long Island, they've got a handful in stock. Get them while they last. Well, before we get to number 1, I've got an honorable mention to quickly show you. While it came out in 2016 and is well beyond the nostalgic time frame, it's still worthy of a mention due to its $1,700 price tag.
It goes for about $2,000 on online. AW Phoenix Festa. It's a PS Vita game. Vita itself, like they didn't even give it a chance, honestly. It was almost like the PSP where it's like they wanted to make something to compete with the DS, I'm assuming, but it just didn't burn off the way they wanted it to. And it's rare to find these things, especially sealed.
And now our top find at Retrosource.
Number 1.
I'm here. Hurry up. Pick me up, shithead.
Buckle up, folks. It's about to get weird. Kids, earmuffs.
What the f***'s that bloody squirrel?
Highly acclaimed and highly offensive. This is Conker's Bad Fur Day, where the only words censored begin with the letter F.
Why is it everybody so offensive around here?
This is Frank. Just get over there, kick his ass, Frank, for sake. Yeah, go over there, kick his ass.
If you were shopping for a new game at your neighborhood Toys R Us in 2001 and saw this cute little guy, you'd assume your family-friendly Nintendo 64 added a furry squirrel hero to the mix. He's so cute, especially since this game was produced by Rare, who brought us Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64. But oh, how wrong you would have been. The first thing we see as the 3D platformer loads up is Conker destroying the Nintendo logo with a chainsaw.
Stupid logo.
Should have been a sign that this was going to shatter everything you thought you knew about the console's family values.
Balls of brasa, polished to the nth degree.
You see, this squirrel goes out, gets drunk, and hopes to buy himself a little time with a quick call to his girlfriend, Berry.
I'm gonna be a bit late. Well, met up with a couple of the guys and they're off tomorrow to some, I don't know, fight some war somewhere. Love you. I think he won it.
Eventually he taps out, and after blowing chunks outside the Cock and Plucker pub, he gets lost and passes out. After he wakes, the adventure begins as he attempts to find his way back home. What he doesn't know is that the Panther King, the ruler of this land, has an end table with a broken leg. His servant suggests a red squirrel would make for a solid replacement leg, so the king sends his minions out to find one. Conker can jump, fly for short spurts, and has a frying pan attack. The game requires you to solve puzzles, fight potty-mouthed enemies, all while stealing, bribing, and flirting along the way. There are fourth wall breaks and plenty of situations suitable for mature audiences only.
Ooh, it's like the screaming shit I'm out of here.
And, like that time a bee pollinates this flower. And then the flower asks Conker if he fancies going for a bounce.
Okay. Now this is what I call a platform game.
Or the time Conker has to defeat an opera-singing pile of poo, which is my absolute favorite.
Me, 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 me. I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you. A huge supply of tish comes from my chocolate starfish. How about some scat, you little twat?
Seriously, why am I only learning about this game now? Can you imagine playing this when you were 10 years old? It's right up there with watching Squiggly Line Cinemax. There are also nearly 40 movie references. This one is obviously The Matrix. There's The Terminator. And Star Wars, to name a few.
My name's Greg. You a little short to be a Grim Reaper?
Too short for a stormtrooper?
Huh?
As I mentioned, this game received some critical acclaim from Metacritic, achieving a score of 92 out of 100. An IGN editor gave it a 9.9 out of 10, saying, quote, "Not only is it quite possibly the most hilarious title ever created, but the selection of crude jokes, over-the-top violence, and sexual content featured is only one-upped by the game's remarkably deep, well-paced level design, tightly knitted control mechanics, beautiful graphics, and amazing sound quality. High praise for a game that aimed and succeeded in setting itself apart from the plethora of Nintendo platformers with PG protagonists." And that is our top find at Retrosource in Farmingville, Long Island, New York. Did you have any of these games when you were growing up? What do you remember most about them? Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to get your thoughts on Plumbers and Conker especially. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for more content that's gonna make you feel nostalgic for the 80s and the 90s. But don't go anywhere just yet. Check out this video right here to see the highly coveted vintage toys and collectibles that we found at Time Warp Toys and Collectibles, also on Long Island. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm Jimmy Gaddis. I'll see you next time.
Curse you, He-Man! You foiled my plans again to get Eternia!
Oh my god.